There
Yeah,
we go.
what's up?
Sorry for the technical difficulties there.
Looking
Man,
good.
they don't make this easy.
What's up? What's up, guys? Yeah, just before we get started too, people are gonna stream in who follow you, I guess. So it's an interview and Q&A. You guys can ask any questions you want, but I have a ton for Tommy. It's been a little bit since we've talked, but dude, it's so good to see you like face to face. I know we talked on the phone, but what is up?
Yeah, man, it's been a minute since those St. Joe's days for sure.
Seriously, yeah, we'll start there for sure.
Yeah, I'm fired up though. Thank you for having me on. Obviously, you're doing a great deal. Having some really inspiring entrepreneurs, and been fortunate to watch some of your talks. So it's been awesome, and humbled to you thought about bringing me on. So excited to share some insights. My journey's still very early on, but if there's anything that I can highlight that's helped me get to where we are today, I mean, I'll try and fire the questions away, guys. If you want to hear
Yeah,
anything, just I'll try to adhere to whatever people want.
absolutely. So the first thing to say, guys, just so you know, I'm the creator and founder of Dream Big & Co. We're a media company with a focus in creative agency work. My partner Nahal is in the live as well. But for Tommy, I mean, I can intro you, but I feel like you'll crush it better if you just want to like focus on. I mean, you can give like a short snippet from St. Joe's to UNC to what you're doing now. That'd be dope for the documentary or archive type thing. So we'll post it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my name's Tommy Hatton. I'm 24 years old. I grew up in Bergen County, New Jersey, more pointedly Glen Rock. I attended St. Joe's Montville, where I met Anthony. Played football there. Was recruited and decided to go to the University of North Carolina, where I played football there. Started there as a redshirt freshman. Had some success there. Was a freshman All-American. Got on the field pretty early. And then unfortunately, I took a hit to the head and had to give up the days, stop chasing the dream, and give up football, which is obviously a crosshair that a lot of people face. So it was a tough decision all around, but trying to make the most of it now, and been working on a venture called Learn to Win, which I'm sure we're going to get into here and kind of describe and give some insights to some of the things that we've done and been working on, and where we're heading in the next couple months.
Yeah, perfect, man. I think the first place to start that'd be really cool, and you guys know as well. Ask questions if you want, but what is like I often see the transition with athletes to then entrepreneurs. What is the biggest takeaway or like something you've learned a lot with sports that you can apply to entrepreneurship, or like something that's really equipped you for this different journey?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's a lot of similar parallels between sports and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I think to be successful in your sport, it takes a lot of sacrifice. It's the same thing in entrepreneurship. A lot of people want to be an entrepreneur. They say they want to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to put the work in to be an entrepreneur. They just want to say it, so they can post it on their Instagram and all that stuff. Same thing in football, right? You got some people who they want to say they're D1, they want to post all these letters, but when push comes to shove, they're not out there doing the extra work. So I think it's the same thing. You have your freak athletes, same thing in entrepreneur, right? Some people who created the fidget spinner, right? They exit out for millions of dollars. It's a freak thing, and if you're fortunate that happens to you, God bless. But it's not the, standard. A lot of times this is a long, windy journey. This entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's not always sexy. It's not always easy. It takes a lot of time. And so it's definitely a journey. It's definitely a grind, every single day. But I would say there's a lot of freedom to it too as well. You're not on a 9-to-5 schedule. You work more than that. That's just
Yeah,
part of
no,
it.
seriously.
But it's there's a lot of advantages. But yeah, I think sports prepare me super well. And for me, I always try to stay away from the status quo and try to just go away from what normal people do. And I think, this is an untraditional path, being an entrepreneur. Not a lot of people want to go down it, which is fair. I understand it. And, you got to adhere to your risk tolerance and stuff like that. But especially when you're young, I don't think, there's a better path than trying to pursue the kind of startup game or whatever you pursue. Got an inbound call, so I just had to
No, it's all good. I think no, we talked about that before with like taking risk when you're young. Um, we also have. Uh, I agree with everything you said as well. It's like it. I think the toughness of sports prepares you for the obstacles that come with entrepreneurship, but it's all a matter if you're willing to like take ownership for the journey itself. But other than that, we had two initial questions, and we can field those. So one is funny. The other one is something I guess you can answer. But it says, can you ask Tommy why he's such a legend?
Alan, you're a clown,
Legendary.
man. Get out of here with those questions.
And
Brandon
then we
London, what's
have
up, man? Brandon London, I see you in here. I trained with Brandon growing up. He's killing it. And I think he really, he's been influential. He's been successful in everything he's done. So we've done a lot of work, and that prepared me. And hopefully I can get to where he is, because he's a guy I look up to for sure.
Yeah, talking about people you look up to, who were your idols growing up? Because that was another question.
Wow.
And I'm
I mean,
sure
I
there's
think a
different
lot.
phases with like
Yeah.
sports. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think first and foremost, my parents. Corny answer, but I mean,
Mm,
they exemplify
absolutely.
what it means to be hardworking, and in a position to be successful. And I wouldn't be where I am without them. So I'd say number one, my parents. Um, I had a mentor, Mr. Jim Tracy, who recently passed away. He was the CEO of Monster Recruiting Board. Took the company from $2 million in revenue to hundreds of millions. Took them public. He grew up in Glen Rock. And I had a really special relationship with him. So him, I read a lot of books too. The Third Door was a book I recently read,
Great
and I
book. Great book.
yeah, I love it. I thought it was awesome. I just got a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I'm, going to start here. So I don't know. I think I've had, all the, a bunch of different mentors, but I'm always constantly looking for new mentors. Mr. Stephen Kenny from St. Joe's. I don't know. I just have a lot. And in sports, Coach Hoffman, my Coach Cap, a bunch of,
Yeah, yeah.
coaches that I look up to. So, yeah, I mean, it's been good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I would love to I want to ask one more point of a general question with entrepreneurship, then I would love to dive into learn to win stuff. But like you can have mentors in this journey, but oftentimes with entrepreneurship, the experience and failure is your mentor. So what's been off the gate with like the 2 years you've been in this journey so far after like hanging up the cleats? What has been a bigger experience or failure that's been sort of a mentor to you in a way?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely, that's a pretty packed question, I would say for
Yeah,
sure. In entrepreneurship, I tell people all the time, it's the startup game. You judge every day like as a success or failure. It's not by the weeks, because some days could be good, some days could be bad. I think in early stage tech, which we'll get into more, you
mhm.
deal with a bunch of fires, and your tech is okay, and you're just continuing to grow and improve and stuff like that. So you're constantly dealing with clients, trying to figure out how to best service them, make sure that they're doing well. I wouldn't say there's been a definitive moment that's really like molded me yet, but I mean, just I've taken a couple rippings from clients. It's definitely humbling at the start of the
Yeah.
journey, but I don't know. I'm still chasing it. I'm still learning a lot every day. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. But then, going back to square one, uh, I don't know if it was a click moment for you with starting this, but how did it come to fruition with you meeting your two other founders from Stanford and starting up Learn to Win and transitioning from sports to this company? But also, like, was it difficult to obviously stop playing? I know it was pretty hard, like knowing you, but how was that transition as well, going from UNC to focusing on Learn to Win?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very difficult, decision to
Hmm.
give up the game of football. It's something I worked my whole life for. I had a poster over my bed that said I'll play in the NFL. Um, and so to
Wow.
give it up and not get to be able to chase it after starting as a redshirt freshman and being a freshman All-American, I mean, it's hard. Um, the reality of things about, I get this asked a lot. It's like, I'm not dead, it's like, I'm still very much alive. And I've always been, I've always wanted to chase my dreams.
Mhm.
and do big things and like be a guy who like went out there and laid it on the line. And one quote that's really like transcribed me is the man in the arena. It's like, I want to be the guy in the arena who's out there chasing the dream, who's out there taking chances. You know, there's going to be a lot of critics who sit on the side who point. They've been handed everything their whole life. They don't have to worry. For me, I want to be the guy who's out there trying to make it happen. Um, and so I've taken that same mentality. I had that in football, you know. I always tested my limits. Brought it to entrepreneurship. It was definitely tough. Getting into your question about how I met Sasha and Andrew, just by chance. You know, I don't believe in
Mhm.
luck. You know, you create your own luck. But I networked with the right people at UNC. Got connected through a friend. He said, "Hey, these two guys have this idea to create this almost Duolingo or Coursera or Rosetta Stone for helping athletes better learn their playbooks." You know, being a football player, I see a lot of application. You know, we started um, on a sub-licensed platform 2 summers ago in the Keenan Football Center. You know, refined it, and then once we got good enough feedback, we went forward and developed it. Developed our own app, and you know, we launched in January 2019. Work with about 125 football teams and sports teams,
Um,
2 branches of the United States military, and now venturing into the enterprise game, and think there's a abundance of opportunities inside of different, you know, verticals, and whether that be in the medical industry, whether that be in gas and oil, trucking, logistics. Um, we're just really redefining the way people do training and how they look at that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really cool to see the process and the growth so far. And I think it's cool to see as well. Like you see one door kind of closed, but it's not necessarily even that. It's like you're just an ever evolving journey into like learning new things. Because you can say one door closed with football, and then you got more opportunities because you were kind of looking for them or you attracted them. But I think it's cool to see that this ever evolving journey of like yourself. And did you even know you wanted to get into this stuff, or you just came upon you like it the way it did?
Yeah, I mean, no, I had no idea. I couldn't tell you when I
That's so
stopped playing
great.
football, like what I would want it, what I would have wanted to do. I don't know. It
Mhm.
kind of like I stumbled upon it. I think I learned pretty early on when I stopped playing football that I didn't want to. I wanted to find something I loved and something I was passionate about and something that I was worth chasing. I didn't know it'd be like being in the tech tech startup or tech company. But now that I'm in tech, I mean, there's no better place to be than tech. I'm telling you. I
Mhm.
mean, there is so much opportunity. You either get with the times or you don't, but you're going to get run over if you don't get with the times because it's a paradigm shift, and you know people are holding on for dear life. But I mean, it's a great sector to be in for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have some friends who work for or have a startup with AR VR, and it's just insane that that's going to be like a mainstream thing come like half a decade or a decade. And then same thing what you said with different ed tech things.
The thing with AR and VR, you know, I think it's tricky just because it's definitely the future. Who's going to win
Mhm.
and what that's going to look like, it's very blurry still. I know
Mhm.
companies like Striver and stuff have really done some stuff and work with Walmart and have some big accounts, but I think they're still redefining VR and stuff with like machine learning principles and other stuff like that will bet that process. But it's a really cool industry. I'm moving out to SF, so you know I'm sure I'll see a lot of emerging tech, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, yeah. And then so talking about that with like the more up to date things, you're moving out there. Like, what is the process for when you started to reach out to raise some money or get some more capital, like what are some steps or advice you would give to someone when trying to scale up? Because I know the beginning is hard in and of itself of making the platform and the value prop, but then actually scaling it up is another thing. Like what's that process like?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it depends on who the target audience here. If you're, you know, in
Mhm.
college, I would say don't be afraid to start while you're in college because you got the backing of college. You don't have, you know, bills or as many bills, and it's the time to take a chance and really take a risk. Um, so that being said, if you can do it while you know, you don't have many kids or girlfriend or whatever, like go and do it now.
Yeah.
If you're more established in your career, there's a lot of different avenues. I think, you know, we talked about on the phone. The accessibility to capital right now is immense. If you have a good idea, it can get funded. I think the traditional path is, you know, you prove the MVP out a little bit, show some promise in the market, and then maybe go raise a little seed round or something or pre-seed, friends and family. give yourself like a little money to put into your pocket and try to just go from there and then make it to a Series A where then you try to raise some big money and really scale it up. That's kind of the traditional path. I don't know. We bootstrapped it. That was just us. We were fortunate. And obviously, we were fortunate to do that. And now, with the fundraise. So, I don't know. It's there's a lot of different ways to get to that destined outcome. I mean, I would say if, once you start giving equity away, especially early on, you really dilute your shares down. But sometimes, 0% or 5% of zero is still zero, so you don't have anything to give, sometimes it ain't bad to give equity. So I think you can be creative in how you go about that. I mean, if you have a really technical friend and, hey, you get them on board to want to go and do this, you might not need to give equity and you might be able to just proof this while you're still making a little money on the side and work on this at night and to show enough promise. So I think there's a lot of different, paths of, how you can get to market and how you can scale up and stuff like that. But I mean, the traditional, I would say, is, raising a little, once you prove the concept enough, going to either friends and family, an angel, whatever it may be. And that's kind of, that's kind of the way to go about it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then I know when you joined the Learn to Win, or like the platform at the time, the guys already built out the idea, but were you along the ride for the process of like iterating the platform in the beginning? And like, how did you guys test it and do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I got on the team, we had a sub-licensed platform that we were going to use. Had a lot of the features that we were looking potentially for in an education platform. So we tested it with Michigan and UNC. And going back to my first point, it's like, if you're going to lose cheaply, lose fast. So we got good feedback, went forward, and we had two people in Chapel Hill. They sold a company called UConnection to a private equity firm, and they went forward and developed our app, and we launched last January. So it was pretty crazy. Yeah, that's kind of how we went at that. Tech is really tricky, especially development. Those people cost a lot of money,
Dude, EdTech especially. Like, I have a friend in EdTech, and that's a difficult field, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. I mean, what really makes us unique and what our platform is, we're not your traditional LMS system, learning management system. We're a micro-learning platform, and what micro-learning is a breakthrough in cognitive science and e-learning. It's all about breaking down information into digestible, bite-sized chunks. So you can come in to 3 to 5 minute learning modules that is going to increase retention. The days of, 45, 50-minute modules, dude, it just doesn't work. If people don't sit through it, doesn't work. And we're trying to, redefine that and, paradigm shift into traditional learning. But yeah, I was really heavily involved in the go-to-market, and then with sales and stuff like that. I mean, I've been here the whole time since we've been really launching. So that's kind of, I wasn't one of the initial founders, like off the bat, but I'm on the founding team and, consider one of the co-founders. So it's been a journey.
Yeah. So dude, like you already have 100 plus like clients. Did you individually pitch a good amount of those? And how did you do that? Or they did just start to fall like dominoes, or what was that whole thing like as well?
Yeah. I mean, so the first couple of like months when we were getting off the ground, we're still trying to shape our tech. We're trying to do all of that stuff. So it was, we didn't get the explosion that we weren't that instant unicorn that everyone's, trying to be, but took some time. We figured out what coaches like, what they didn't like. We were able to like kind of redefine our product here and there, created some relationships. We built trust with the UNC defensive coordinator, Ole Miss safeties coach. In coaching and football, it's all about, it's a relationship game. If you have a good product and it works and people buy into it, they're going to go tell all of their friends. And so we've been, we're not quite there yet, but we've been the byproduct of a lot of organic growth, which is pretty cool in such a short period of time to, word of mouth and, people talking. For instance, like I pitched to Mel Tucker at Michigan State, and Mel Tucker called Chris Partridge at Ole Miss. And he said, yeah, you should buy this. And same thing when we pitched to South Carolina with Muschamp. So, the organic growth is really, that's second to none. And that's kind of when you get into the enterprise field. you really need case studies because you need to show a return on investment to these like companies before they're going to invest in your software. No one's just going to invest in your software for the idea, but if it's going to save them time, money, and resources, they're going to at least look at it worth their time. So
yeah, you got to show them why. I think it's also crazy too because you put a lot of time into making the product good, and I think people are spreading the word organically just because it's like a really good idea and the tech is really good in and of itself. You know, I think you can't market a bad product. You guys have a really good product.
Yeah, so we have a good product. We have a great product. The idea is really there.
Yeah.
I mean, we just hired on a senior engineer from Facebook, and we're trying to really build this thing. I think the fundamental platform is very good, but it's just the beginning, and it's going to be even better and even more intuitive and features. So this is just the beginning for us. We're excited. We're still early on, but yeah, we got a lot of upside for sure.
Absolutely. And then talking about that, just the beginning, when this stuff subsides, quarantine subsides, this year comes to a close, like what things are you looking forward to, things you want to capitalize on in the future? Big moves ahead.
I really want to. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I definitely have personal goals for myself. Obviously, lose a couple lbs, eat healthier. You have your battles with that every single day. To continue to do that. I think working out is super important. I try to work out at least 4 times a week. I think working out, you push your mind, you push your body, and it's the same thing in business. It's like if you sit back and you don't test yourself and stuff, well, then when it's time for the big meeting or big event, it's like you haven't sacrificed, you haven't like went through that grind. But when you're working out every day and you're getting better, I don't know, it shapes you. So I think personal goal, I mean, obviously, I go up and down on the wagon about my diet. I'm a big guy, offensive lineman. I can't be 300 pounds, sitting around 270, but would love to get back down to. In terms of company goals, I think really to cultivate this corporate pipeline. Corporate takes a little bit longer to break into. You're talking about bigger contract size and stuff like that. It doesn't just happen overnight. But we have a lot of really good opportunities, so I'd love to capitalize on a lot of these if we can. There's a lot of good stuff, so it'd be awesome. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, and just continue to grow, network, and better myself every single day. Read, constantly learn. There's so much knowledge out there in this world, and I'm just, you can't make excuses for things. It's like you either get it done or you don't get it done. I'm not going to let people make excuses for me. I'm not going to make excuses for myself. I'm just going to take it day by day, control what I can control, get better, and, continue to help learn to win. We have a great team here. I mean, I'm fortunate to work with some of the smartest people like you could even imagine. And so it's awesome. They push me every single day to be better. So this is just the beginning for us. We got a long way to go, but excited for the future.
Yeah, if you want to build great things, you got to have a great team. I mean, same thing happened with St. Joe's, the championships, UNC with how you guys did. But I think the couple things I took away too were the point of health always being first. I think you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think someone who's very high energy and ambitious like you always got to make sure you're in check before everything else can line up. I think that's a very underrated thing, especially this field, because you always want to be go, go, go. But if you don't prioritize the health, then what's the point of even, doing what you're doing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, health is king at the end of the day. If you're unhealthy, you can't do anything. And I'm blessed to be healthy and blessed to be in this body. And, obviously I could eat a little healthy. I'm sure my cholesterol's a little bit high here and there.
You'll get there.
Yeah, overall, it's definitely it's a blessing.
Yeah. And then you talked about books as well. Are there any, you said The Third Door was one. Are there any upcoming reads you want to consume or other books that have been pretty monumental on your learning process lately?
I mean, I read The Intelligent Investor a while ago. I think that's good for just any people trying to learn money or about investing money and stuff. I think, you got to invest, especially when you're young, and create wealth and passive income. I think that's super important.
Absolutely.
It's a great start. The Random Walk Down Wall Street. I used to think I wanted to be in finance. Then I realized you had to wear a tie and suit every day, and I'm like, screw that. But, so that, I don't know. I'm just trying to read a little bit more. I listen to How I Built This Guy Roz, a lot of podcasts. I'm
Mm.
constantly reading on CNBC and stuff like that. I mean, I'm about to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. My uncle recommended that to me.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. But, you know, you can always read more. I need to, one thing that's I've caught myself recently is I've been so go, 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 grind, 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 learn to win, learn to win. Sometimes I don't make time to better myself, like intellectually. I don't
Mm.
make time to read every day. And that's just housekeeping things that I need to just get back into my routine because it's so important to help you get to that ultimate goal and to be successful. You're trying to build a successful career. And you need to just keep on honing in on your skills. It's like playing offensive line. You need to work on your pass sets. You need to get better every single day and continue to improve. So those are some things I've caught myself slipping on. But, you know, I'm excited to read this book and commit to it and, you know, set a goal. Hey, I want to get this done in 2 weeks, right?
Mm.
And then knock it out. I think that's super important.
Yeah, and has the quarantine led you to realizing more of that, of the point you got to decompress more, learn more stuff intellectually? Because I feel like I was in the same boat, but I'm interested to hear on your end.
This quarantine's been grind, grind, grind for me in terms of for learn to win, which is a good thing to have.
Yeah,
Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. But
absolutely.
it's been a lot. Constantly 8 a.m. till 2 in the morning some nights, you know.
Yeah,
But
early startup things. That's what you
yeah,
got to
early stuff.
do.
I mean, it's just part of the grind. But yeah, I think you got to always seek new knowledge out there. You got to talk to new people. I try to just talk to a lot of people every single day, smarter people than myself. You know, frankly, and just try to learn
Yeah.
about different things. And honestly, your inner circle, who you surround yourself with, really defines who you are as a person. And I'm blessed to have great friends here at Carolina, here up in New Jersey, just all over the place. A lot of really intelligent people. So, but I think, yeah, this quarantine, I think, you know, you could have looked at this quarantine in two ways. It's like you could have been like, oh, we're stuck inside, this and that. Yeah, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. No one wants to be stuck inside. Or you're like, okay, how can I get better? How can I come up with an idea? How can I innovate? And so you make that decision every day. And if you want to complain and act like that, no one else can do it. You know, it's not like you're the only person in the world who can't do it. So it's like sack up and, you know, I don't know, just get better and control what you can control and get yourself better. And I mean, I think that's kind of been my mentality and not saying that should be people's mentality, but I think like if you just hone in your bed, lay in there and watch
Yeah.
Netflix all day, it's like, dude, like, come on, you know, like what do
Yeah,
you
no,
expect?
I definitely hear where you're coming from. I like the point of controlling what you can. I think that's the biggest thing that's been reiterated by myself or people around me. I completely agree with that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then just so people know as well, probably finish in like a minute or two, because I drained my curiosity on my end, and I'll probably have more and just like text you individually about how things go. But guys, just if you want to ask a couple more questions, you can. I think one thing I wanted to cap it off with is what has been like because I've been asking this for all the IG lives we've done through the last month. What has been something clear that has popped out to you through this time, like a learning or just like an observation with the world at large? I find those things interesting, so I'm curious to see what you've taken away, if you've taken away certain things.
Yeah. Just say enjoy the time with your family, especially if you're like
Mhm.
postgraduate or something like that. This was the longest time. I'm in Chapel Hill now, but this is the longest time I
Mhm.
had been home. Um, and it was great time with the family. And it really just makes you think what's important in life. And you know, it's Instagram and social media. It's tough to, you know, see lavish items and want this. And you go to school with Carolina, and you know, people are walking around with thousands of dollar Gucci purses and stuff. And it's like, but no, the most important thing is family and making sure you're healthy. Um, and I don't know. This time has made me hungrier. At least that's how I am. When I go into like isolation, even when I was playing football, it just makes me want it even more. Makes me want to be the best. Makes me want to be successful. And so this time
Mhm.
has honestly been good for me overall. And I think I just have attacked the quarantine. Our whole company has. It's not just been me. It's been our whole company. We've been really doing a good job, and we've been really busy. And there's been an uptick in interest and stuff like that. So pretty
Mhm.
excited about it.
Yeah, no, dude, that's uh, I I can't say it enough, but I think for one, it's amazing to see the growth. It's amazing to reconnect, but I appreciate someone who's also grinding and doing something to benefit others. That's all I had on my end, and I think we can cap it off here. But I have like endless appreciation for you, man, and just continue to spread knowledge, improve yourself, and I'm excited to see Learn to Win and how you guys do in SF and further growth.
Yeah, much respect, Anthony. Thank you for having me on. You're crushing it, man, and this has been really cool. And guys, thank you for tuning in. If y'all have any questions, anything, if I can, be a help, give me a shout out, in my DMs or whatever, and follow Anthony on his journey. He's doing some cool stuff. So appreciate y'all tuning in, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, Tom, I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
There's roots where I stand.